The Trojan War has this amazing quality of, I think that I said back in our Iliad episode that the test of when you've read the Iliad enough is when you have come to love everyone in the story. And it's okay if somebody's not there yet, but that's the test, because as we talked about, the early Christians read the Iliad as a Christian as a pagan retelling of the fall of man, where Achilles is Adam, right? The Thebaid is different. It's sandwiched in the middle here, and other than Oedipus the king and maybe Antigone, most people just don't know very much about the story. The trick with the Thebaid is to read the story and be able to love everyone in the story. Not admire them, because with the exception of Antigone, there are essentially very few admirable characters. Amphiaraus is pretty okay, but in the end, they all die. And the city of Thebes is saved, but it's only saved for like a hot minute. A few years later, the sons of the seven show up, and they burn the city to the ground. So it's a story where everybody dies. It's a story where almost nobody is admirable. But it's a story where you have to learn to love everyone in that story. And I say this because, much like the city of Thebes, our city, the culture and the world that we live in today, is one which the Furies enjoy. It's one that they visit, they come to often, probably more often than their own home. It's a dark and ugly world. There are things that are going on in the world around us today which are, I mean, if you think about some of the strange things that have happened around just the act of procreation, if you think about surrogacy and all the unborn children which are just wholesale slaughtered as part of that process, if you think about all the different things that are going on today, I mean, like, there's a lot of things that are extremely disordered, and that is the kind of sin that the Furies in particular punish. Is the sins which, if you do these things, your society will cease to exist. One of my takeaways from reading through all of this is that obviously our world is much better than the pagan world in lots and lots of ways. Thanks to Christianity, you guys are welcome. But ultimately, we are not so different as people. We're still selfish. We're still ruled by our passions. When those passions rule us, it causes us to transgress these certain boundaries. All sin is bad, but there are some kinds of sin that if you commit them, the land will spit you out. Innocent blood, of which there is plenty in this country, is one of those sins. Sodomy is one of those sins, right? The kinds of sins that we've been dealing with here in the Theban cycle are also some of those sins. And in a pastoral context today, you can sort of ask the question of, what are we supposed to do? What am I supposed to do as an Orthodox Christian? What am I supposed to do as, as a deacon? What are you supposed to do as a priest? What are you supposed to do as people who have been given in various ways and to differing degrees, but we've been given the job of reconciling God and men together, like to bringing people to God? How do we go about this? We have to just be able to enter into a very deep love for the people that we are ministering to. So much of the culture stuff, war stuff, really, I really hate it. It's not because it's mean, it's because it's just like profoundly lacking in love. Like you can love somebody and not be nice to them. Like sometimes that's needed. Sometimes it's part of love. But what I see in culture war stuff on both sides is just a profound lack of love for the other person. And I think that some of this is just because we've stopped reading stories like this. And when we stopped reading stories like this, we stopped having the capacity. I think that empathy as a term is way overused in our culture today, but we stopped having compassion. We stopped having the ability to, I'm not even saying like enter into one of these people's and see it from their point of view. Like sometimes your point of view is just wrong and destructive, and like nobody needs to go there with you. But at the same time, to have like deep compassion on the characters in here who also find themselves very often caught up among what philosophers would consider very poor moral luck. Like Oedipus, going back to Oedipus at Colonus, he makes gives a whole spiel about how basically all the horrible things he did are horrible, and he knows that they have made him an outcast, and he knows that they've made him impure and all these things, but also none of it was what he had chosen. Like, basically, he was just kind of operating under like what any reasonable person would have done under the circumstances. And okay, like, fair enough, still wasn't good. And the great thing to me about those plays is that they never, ever, ever, ever say, well, since you didn't mean to do it, I guess it's okay. I guess everything is fine now and everything is better. Because that is just not how that works. Yeah. So I think these plays, these stories, the epic fragments that we've read, the Thebaid of Statius, like all this stuff together gives us the ability to see two things. One is why certain kinds of sins are really dangerous and damaging, and why they will result in Sodom and Gomorrah, like in the destruction of a city, in the destruction in a race, in a name, in a lineage, in a family being completely wiped out. But then also, they do give us the ability to also look at the people who are in our lives and to whom we've been called to minister and say, man, you started out in a pretty bad place. And I get that. And, more importantly, God sees that. And I love you too much to leave you there. But let's work on this together.
Yeah.